Welcome to the April 7th, 2017 edition of Colorado Inside Out Postgame, a special web-exclusive production here on Channel 12. Let's get a quick take on a newly released report by ApartmentList.com showing that Denver's 5 Points neighborhood is now home to the city's highest rent. Average monthly rent for a two-bedroom in the culturally historic neighborhood has reached $2,130, which is up 1.6% from March. Patty Calhoun from Westward. Highest rent in Denver and 5 Points neighborhood. When did you think we'd ever say those in the same sentence?
Never, unless you happen to look at a city map where historically the neighborhood of 5 Points stretches all the way to the Platte. So you're looking at booming Rhino and you see those incredible apartment complexes going up that are not cheap at all. You know, where you're paying $1,500 for a studio, where you're paying well over that average for a two-bedroom sometimes. And that's what's raised it up. We also, because it's an apartment list, you're not really getting into house rentals, you're just getting into apartments. And of course, we're not getting into condos because no one is building condos in that part of town. Let's see what happens with apartment costs 5-10 years from now when people aren't so interested in living in the hippest, hottest new parts of town.
David Kopel from the Independence Institute and DU Law School. At what point does Denver's growing costs get to a tipping point when even the neighborhoods that may have seemed affordable even 5 years ago are now the highest rent around? When does that become a detriment to the city?
Never. I mean, it's a detriment to the people who are trying to get in, and it's definitely tough on them. You know, same Boulder's been through this in an earlier cycle. You know, it used to be in 1975, you could just be some kind of trustafarian with, you know, a modest income from your trust and be able to afford someplace in Boulder. And now that's really tough. And so people ended up going to Gun Barrel and Longmont and on and on. And now those are going up, you know. But people pay to live in a city mainly to be with the other people. That's the value of it. You could obviously get more land for your money or more apartment space for your money in lots of other places, but Denver's got a very thriving and creative and dynamic scene that people want to be part of.
Eric Sonneman, political analyst, as you see all these different changes around Denver happening, and they seem pretty positive, you know, rents are going up, it means the value is high. Does there need to be some sort of management by the city of Denver so that it can continue to thrive before it becomes, I guess, a problem?
Well, the city's trying. We're trying to put a major push on affordable housing. I think all of us around the table have been dubious that the pot of money Denver has available can really make a meaningful impact on that. But at least the intent is there. To me, it just shows the cities are a dynamic organism. They're always changing. They're always adapting. One person's gentrification to be chastised is another person's opportunity to be taken advantage of. The story that caught my eye this week, I thought about making it, might say something nice on the show, was this development on 39th and Franklin. Denver Rock Drill is an old mill there that's now going to be the site of a Sage Hotel and a mixed-use development of offices, commercial, residential. Who would have thought that a few years ago that kind of an exciting development would go to 39th and Franklin in Denver? But that's where the activity is taking place, and the city is changing.
Natasha Gardner, articles editor at 5280 Magazine. Your magazine studies a lot about Denver, whether it's best doctors, best restaurants, whatever it is. As you're seeing these changes, what have you noticed over your tenure at 5280?
Actually, I'm in the thick of finishing our May real estate story. So this has been living and breathing information for me every day. The thing that's affordability has come up in this conversation, but that's affordability seems to be across the board. It's not just for people looking to rent, it's for renters looking to buy and buyers looking to improve or move. And when it's across the board like that, it becomes not just a city issue, not just a low-income housing issue. It becomes a question of what else needs to change in the market. And in particular with Denver, I hear people say, well, it's not New York rents, it's not San Francisco rents, and that's true. But we also don't have New York salaries or San Francisco salaries. And I think one of the key points, or what will become a hot topic, is what employers in Colorado as a whole, but in Denver in particular, are going to do to attract people to come here, but also for people to stay here. Because if you can't afford to stay here because you don't make enough money to either rent, buy, or upgrade, then how does this market sustain itself? And that's a big question right now.
Good point. That's all the time we have for Colorado Inside Out postgame this week. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. For everyone here at CPT12.org, I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Thanks for watching.